Seniors, your bones are thinning without this one mineral. Bone thinning after 50 is silent. It does not announce itself with pain until it is too late. Many seniors believe calcium and vitamin D alone will protect their bones, yet one vital mineral is missing from their daily routine. Without it, calcium is not properly absorbed, vitamin D cannot activate fully, and bones gradually lose their strength. Doctors warn that this hidden deficiency increases the risk of fractures in the hip, spine, and wrist, the very injuries that steal independence in later life. That missing mineral is magnesium, the true foundation of lasting bone health. If strong bones and healthy aging matter to you, take a moment to subscribe and join this community. Each week you'll learn essential health guidance designed for life after 50. Share your thoughts in the comments so others can discover how small changes protect independence and vitality. Magnesium is one of the most overlooked minerals in bone health, yet it is the key that makes calcium and vitamin D work together. Without enough magnesium, bones cannot form or stay dense, no matter how much calcium is consumed. This is because magnesium is required for the activation of vitamin D, and without activated vitamin D, the body cannot absorb calcium efficiently. Doctors explain that calcium without magnesium is like bricks without mortar. The structure is unstable, and over time, bones quietly become brittle. Research has consistently shown that magnesium intake is directly linked to bone density. A study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that older adults with higher magnesium intake had significantly greater bone mineral density compared to those with lower intake. The difference was especially noticeable in postmenopausal women, who are already at higher risk of osteoporosis. The researchers concluded that magnesium is just as critical as calcium for maintaining skeletal strength in later life. Another study from the British Journal of Nutrition highlighted that people with magnesium deficiency faced up to a 30% higher risk of fractures. The most common fractures in older adults, hip, wrist, and spine, were all linked to lower magnesium intake. These injuries are not only painful but often life-changing, limiting mobility and independence. This is why some doctors now consider magnesium deficiency a hidden factor in the rising rates of osteoporosis worldwide. Magnesium also supports the production of calcitonin, a hormone that helps keep calcium in the bones rather than letting it drift into soft tissues. Without sufficient magnesium, calcium may be misdirected, hardening the arteries or forming kidney stones instead of strengthening bones. This is another reason why magnesium is considered the hidden protector. It not only helps build bone but also ensures that calcium is used correctly in the body. Beyond structure, magnesium plays a role in the flexibility of bones. Bones are not meant to be hard, brittle sticks, they need a certain level of resilience to absorb shocks and prevent fractures. Magnesium helps create that resilience by supporting the collagen matrix within bones. Collagen gives bones their internal scaffolding, and magnesium helps maintain its stability. When magnesium is low, bones may appear dense on the surface but are more likely to crack under pressure. Doctors often see patients who take calcium and vitamin D faithfully but still develop osteoporosis. When their diets are reviewed, magnesium is frequently missing. Leafy greens, nuts, seeds, beans, and whole grains are natural sources, yet many seniors do not eat enough of these foods. Processed foods, which dominate modern diets, contain very little magnesium. The result is that even with supplements, bones are left unprotected. Understanding magnesium as the hidden bone protector changes the way bone health is approached after 50. It is not enough to focus on calcium alone. The full picture requires balance, calcium, vitamin D, and magnesium working in harmony. With this balance, bones stay denser, stronger, and less prone to the fractures that threaten independence in later life. After the age of 50, magnesium deficiency quietly becomes more common, and its effects on the skeleton are profound. Even when seniors consume enough calcium, their bones may still thin if magnesium is missing. This happens because magnesium is required for every stage of bone metabolism. Without it, the cycle of building and repairing bone slows down, and the body gradually shifts toward losing more bone than it creates. The result is osteoporosis, a condition where bones become fragile and vulnerable to fractures. One reason magnesium deficiency is more common with age is reduced stomach acid. Magnesium in food needs adequate stomach acid for proper absorption. As people get older, acid levels often decline, especially in those who use medications to control reflux or indigestion. This means that even if magnesium-rich foods are eaten, much of the mineral may pass through the system unabsorbed. Over time, this silent loss contributes to a gradual decline in bone density. Medications are another factor. Diuretics prescribed for high blood pressure, proton pump inhibitors for acid reflux, and some diabetes medications all increase magnesium loss. Doctors warn that long-term use of these drugs can double the risk of deficiency. Seniors often take multiple prescriptions daily, which raises the likelihood of depletion even more. The connection is often overlooked because blood tests do not always reveal magnesium deficiency. Only about 1% of the body's magnesium is found in the blood, so levels can appear normal while the bones are being drained. The skeleton itself stores nearly 60% of the body's magnesium. When dietary intake is too low, the body pulls magnesium from the bones to keep essential processes like muscle contraction and nerve signaling running. This slow withdrawal weakens the bone structure. Over years, bones become more porous, losing the density needed to withstand normal stresses. Something as simple as a small fall or even twisting the body incorrectly can lead to a fracture when magnesium levels are chronically low. Clinical studies confirm this risk. Researchers from the University of Helsinki followed older adults and found that those with lower magnesium intake had significantly higher rates of hip fractures. Hip fractures are among the most dangerous injuries for seniors because they often lead to long recoveries, loss of mobility, and even long-term care needs. The study concluded that improving magnesium intake could reduce fracture risk substantially, even in those already diagnosed with osteoporosis. Magnesium deficiency also contributes to muscle weakness, which further increases fracture risk. Muscles and bones work together as a unit. When muscles are strong, they help stabilize joints and prevent falls. When magnesium is low, muscles cramp more easily, and balance becomes less steady. Seniors with chronic deficiency often experience both thinning bones and weaker muscles, a combination that makes falls and fractures far more likely. Doctors emphasize that treating bone health without addressing muscle health is incomplete, and magnesium is central to both. The weakness caused by magnesium deficiency is not sudden. It develops quietly over years. Bone scans may reveal thinning only after a significant amount of density has already been lost. This is why prevention is essential. Restoring magnesium early helps slow or even reverse bone loss before it reaches a critical stage. By the time fractures occur, recovery is harder, and the consequences are more severe. Understanding the role of magnesium deficiency in bone health allows seniors to see why this mineral cannot be ignored. It is not just a helper but a core requirement for keeping bones strong after 50. Protecting magnesium levels protects the skeleton from the silent erosion that leads to frailty and dependence. For decades, calcium has been promoted as the key to strong bones, and many seniors faithfully take calcium supplements or increase dairy intake with the hope of preventing osteoporosis. Yet doctors now warn that calcium alone is not enough and, in some cases, may even be harmful if magnesium is missing. The body cannot use calcium properly without magnesium, and when this balance is broken, calcium may end up in the wrong places. Magnesium is essential for converting vitamin D into its active form, and vitamin D is what directs calcium into the bones. Without magnesium, vitamin D remains inactive, and calcium floats unused in the bloodstream. This unused calcium does not simply disappear. It often deposits in arteries, kidneys, or joints, creating new health risks. Arterial calcification, kidney stones, and joint stiffness are all linked to high calcium intake without sufficient magnesium. Doctors increasingly caution seniors that taking calcium supplements without correcting magnesium intake may trade one problem for another. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition revealed that women who consumed high amounts of calcium but low amounts of magnesium had no significant protection against fractures. In contrast, those who balanced calcium with magnesium showed improved bone density and lower fracture rates. This finding supports the idea that calcium on its own cannot safeguard bones. It needs magnesium as its partner. Calcium and magnesium also balance each other in muscle and nerve function. Calcium stimulates muscle contraction, while magnesium relaxes muscles. Without enough magnesium, calcium can dominate, leading to cramps, stiffness, and even irregular heart rhythms. This same imbalance can affect the bones by creating an environment where calcium is not guided properly into the skeletal structure. Doctors often explain that calcium builds the bricks of the bone, but magnesium is the mortar that holds them in place. Without mortar, the bricks collapse. The supplement industry often markets calcium heavily, while magnesium is given little attention. As a result, many seniors take calcium supplements daily but consume very little magnesium from food. Over time, this creates an imbalance that may actually accelerate bone thinning instead of preventing it. Nutritionists recommend that calcium and magnesium be consumed in a balanced ratio, often suggested as 2 parts calcium to 1 part magnesium. This balance allows both minerals to support bone strength effectively. Practical experience confirms this imbalance. Seniors who rely on calcium supplements alone sometimes develop arterial calcification or kidney issues, while still showing signs of osteoporosis. When magnesium is added to their routine, many of these issues stabilize, and bone density outcomes improve. The lesson is clear: calcium by itself is incomplete. Strong bones after 50 depend not only on how much calcium is consumed but also on whether the body has the magnesium needed to use it. Focusing only on calcium is like focusing on quantity without quality. The true strength of bones lies in the harmony of calcium, vitamin D, and magnesium working together. For seniors who want lasting bone protection, magnesium is not optional. It is the partner that makes calcium effective. Magnesium deficiency is not only the result of low intake. In seniors, there are several common causes of magnesium loss that quietly weaken the body over time. Understanding these causes is the first step toward protecting bone health and overall vitality. One of the most significant contributors is medication use. Diuretics, often prescribed for high blood pressure or heart conditions, increase the excretion of magnesium through urine. Proton pump inhibitors, widely used for acid reflux, reduce stomach acid and lower magnesium absorption from food. Certain diabetes medications also interfere with magnesium balance. Because many seniors take multiple prescriptions daily, the risk of magnesium depletion is far greater in this age group than in younger adults. Doctors note that even mild, ongoing losses can, over years, lead to meaningful deficiency that affects the skeleton. Dietary patterns also play a role. Modern diets rely heavily on processed foods, which are stripped of natural minerals during manufacturing. White bread, polished rice, and packaged snacks contain very little magnesium. When these foods replace whole grains, nuts, seeds, and leafy greens, magnesium intake drops significantly. Seniors may also eat less overall due to smaller appetites, further reducing opportunities to consume magnesium-rich foods. This quiet decline in nutrient intake makes deficiency increasingly common with age. Stress is another overlooked factor. Emotional stress, chronic anxiety, and even physical stress from illness or surgery can cause the body to use and excrete more magnesium. Studies show that cortisol, the stress hormone, alters how the body handles minerals, leading to lower magnesium reserves. Because aging often brings more health challenges and worries, the ongoing effect of stress contributes to depletion at a time when the body needs magnesium most. Alcohol consumption also worsens the problem. Even moderate intake increases magnesium loss in urine and reduces absorption in the gut. Seniors who drink regularly, even in small amounts, may face compounded risks if their diets are already low in magnesium. Doctors often encourage older patients to reduce or eliminate alcohol, not only for liver and heart health but also to protect mineral balance. Digestive disorders add to the picture. Conditions like celiac disease, Crohn's disease, and chronic diarrhea prevent efficient magnesium absorption. Seniors with these conditions face a higher risk of bone thinning because the mineral never fully reaches the bloodstream or bones. Even mild but chronic digestive issues can contribute to magnesium loss over time. Age itself changes how the body processes magnesium. Kidney function often declines gradually after 50, and while kidneys normally help regulate magnesium, impaired function can either waste too much or hold too little in balance. The result is instability that further complicates magnesium levels in the body. The combination of medications, diet, stress, alcohol, digestive disorders, and aging makes magnesium loss particularly common in seniors. This explains why bone thinning progresses even in those who believe they are eating well or supplementing with calcium. Protecting magnesium levels requires awareness of these hidden drains. By addressing them, seniors can take meaningful steps toward preserving strong bones and avoiding the silent slide into deficiency. Magnesium deficiency often develops slowly, and the early signs are easy to overlook. Many symptoms are dismissed as part of normal aging, but in reality, they may be clear warnings that the body is running low on this essential mineral. Recognizing these signals can help protect bone strength and overall health before more serious problems develop. One of the most common signs is muscle cramps. Seniors who frequently experience cramping in the legs, especially at night, may be dealing with magnesium deficiency. Magnesium is responsible for relaxing muscles after calcium triggers them to contract. Without enough magnesium, muscles tighten too easily, leading to cramps, spasms, or restless legs. These issues may not seem connected to bone health, but they signal the same imbalance that also weakens the skeleton. Fatigue is another subtle indicator. Magnesium plays a role in producing energy at the cellular level. When levels are low, the body struggles to generate steady energy, leaving people feeling tired even after rest. Chronic fatigue is often reported in seniors with low magnesium, and it can contribute indirectly to weaker bones by reducing activity levels and muscle strength. Less movement means less stimulation to keep bones dense. Irregular heartbeat is also linked to magnesium deficiency. This mineral helps regulate electrical signals in the heart. When it is low, the rhythm can become unstable. Doctors often check magnesium levels in patients with arrhythmias for this reason. While the heart and bones may seem unrelated, both depend on balanced minerals for stability. A body that shows heart rhythm disturbances may also be struggling with mineral imbalances that affect the skeleton. Fragile bones themselves can be a later sign of deficiency. Osteoporosis and frequent fractures may develop after years of insufficient magnesium. By the time bone thinning is diagnosed, deficiency has often been present for a long period. Doctors emphasize that waiting until fractures occur means the problem has already advanced. That is why early signs such as cramps, fatigue, or irregular heartbeats deserve attention before bone loss becomes severe. Other subtle symptoms include poor sleep, anxiety, headaches, or tingling sensations in the hands and feet. These signs come from magnesium's role in calming the nervous system and supporting normal nerve function. Seniors often report these issues without realizing they may be connected to a mineral imbalance. Left unaddressed, the same deficiency continues to weaken bones quietly in the background. Because magnesium is stored mostly in bones and tissues, blood tests are not always reliable for detecting deficiency. A normal reading can still mask a shortage in the skeleton. This is why doctors encourage paying close attention to symptoms and lifestyle factors, not just test results. By recognizing these signs early, seniors can take steps to restore magnesium before serious bone loss occurs. Addressing cramps, fatigue, and fragile bones with magnesium awareness is not only about comfort but also about protecting independence and strength in later life. Food is the safest and most natural way to restore magnesium, and certain foods stand out as powerful allies for bone health. After the age of 50, focusing on these foods daily can make a meaningful difference in maintaining strength and reducing the silent loss of bone density. Leafy green vegetables are among the richest sources of magnesium. Spinach, Swiss chard, and kale provide high amounts in every serving. The green pigment chlorophyll contains magnesium at its core, making these vegetables particularly effective. Doctors often recommend adding a serving of leafy greens at least once a day, whether in a salad, lightly cooked dish, or blended into soups. These foods not only strengthen bones but also deliver vitamin K, another important nutrient for skeletal health. Nuts and seeds are another excellent option. Almonds, cashews, pumpkin seeds, and sunflower seeds are packed with magnesium. Even a small handful can contribute a significant portion of daily needs. These foods are convenient snacks and also provide healthy fats and protein, which help support muscle and joint health. Studies show that older adults who regularly eat nuts and seeds have stronger bones and fewer fractures compared to those who rarely consume them. Beans and legumes are often overlooked but provide steady magnesium intake along with plant-based protein and fiber. Black beans, lentils, and chickpeas are versatile, affordable, and easy to incorporate into daily meals. Doctors point out that diets rich in legumes not only improve magnesium levels but also support better blood sugar control, which indirectly benefits bone health by reducing inflammation. Whole grains such as brown rice, oats, and quinoa also contain magnesium in meaningful amounts. Unlike refined grains, which lose most of their mineral content during processing, whole grains preserve magnesium in their outer layers. Seniors who replace white bread and white rice with whole grain alternatives naturally increase magnesium intake while also supporting heart health. Fruits can also help. Bananas, avocados, and figs all provide moderate amounts of magnesium. While not as concentrated as leafy greens or seeds, they add variety and are easy to digest. Dried fruits like prunes and raisins contribute additional magnesium while also supporting bone density through other compounds that reduce calcium loss. Dark chocolate, when consumed in moderation, is another surprising source. Cocoa is naturally rich in magnesium, and small amounts of dark chocolate with high cocoa content can boost levels. Nutritionists emphasize moderation, as chocolate is also calorie-dense, but it can provide both satisfaction and mineral support. Water itself can be a source of magnesium if it comes from mineral-rich springs. Some bottled waters list magnesium content on the label, and choosing these can provide an extra boost. Seniors with limited appetites may find this an easy way to add magnesium without increasing food volume. The key to using food as a magnesium source is consistency. A single serving does not reverse deficiency, but daily intake builds reserves over time. Doctors often encourage seniors to combine several food groups throughout the week to ensure variety and steady absorption. For example, a breakfast of oatmeal with nuts and fruit, a lunch of bean soup with leafy greens, and a dinner with brown rice and vegetables provides ample magnesium naturally. Foods deliver magnesium in a form the body absorbs gradually, reducing the risk of excess. This makes dietary intake safer than relying only on supplements. Seniors who focus on leafy greens, nuts, beans, whole grains, and fruits create a strong nutritional foundation that directly protects bones. By turning meals into medicine, magnesium becomes a daily safeguard against the silent erosion of bone density. Restoring magnesium levels after 50 requires both careful food choices and, when necessary, the right kind of supplementation. Doctors often explain that magnesium is best absorbed from natural foods, but in cases of deficiency, supplements may provide additional support. The key is to choose forms of magnesium that the body can use easily and to avoid taking more than is safe. Magnesium citrate and magnesium glycinate are two of the most recommended forms for seniors. These forms are better absorbed and less likely to cause digestive upset compared to cheaper options like magnesium oxide. Magnesium citrate is often suggested for those who also struggle with constipation, while magnesium glycinate is gentler on the stomach and helpful for relaxation and sleep. Doctors emphasize that supplements should always be started in consultation with a healthcare professional, especially for seniors taking multiple medications, since interactions are possible. Dosage matters. Taking too much magnesium from supplements can cause diarrhea, low blood pressure, or irregular heartbeat. For this reason, experts advise relying on food first and using supplements only to fill gaps. The general guideline for adults over 50 is around 320 mg per day for women and 420 mg per day for men, but the best approach is to spread intake across meals and not rely on one large dose. Magnesium also works best in harmony with calcium and vitamin D. These three nutrients form a triangle of bone protection. Without magnesium, calcium cannot be absorbed efficiently. Without vitamin D, calcium and magnesium are not directed into the bones. Seniors who focus on all three together rather than one alone give their bones the strongest foundation. Doctors recommend balanced multivitamins or combined bone health supplements that include all three nutrients in proper ratios. Lifestyle habits can also support magnesium levels. Reducing alcohol, managing stress, and limiting highly processed foods help the body retain more of the mineral. Gentle weight-bearing exercise, such as walking or light resistance training, encourages bones to use minerals more effectively, further improving density. Small but consistent steps make the difference between ongoing depletion and steady restoration. Closing summary and outro: magnesium is the missing mineral that many seniors overlook, yet it is the one that quietly determines whether bones stay strong or grow fragile. Without it, calcium and vitamin D cannot perform their roles, leaving the skeleton vulnerable to thinning and fracture. With it, bones gain density, resilience, and lasting strength. Doctors, nutritionists, and traditional health systems all agree magnesium is not optional. It is essential. The signs of deficiency are often subtle, but the consequences are serious. Recognizing the causes of loss, eating magnesium-rich foods daily, and supplementing wisely when needed can protect bone health well into later life. Independence, mobility, and vitality depend on strong bones, and strong bones depend on magnesium. By respecting this simple truth, seniors can guard against silent bone loss and preserve the freedom to move with confidence for many years ahead.